Welcome to Issues and Insights. I'm your host, Melanie Parker. Today we have Tommy Crane. I want to make sure I get your title right because that's important. Radcliffe Deputy Fire Marshal.
Yes,
that's
correct.
Welcome.
Fire marshals.
Glad to have you. I know
Thank you.
You have a lot going on, so we absolutely appreciate the time you take away from all of your very important duties to be here with us.
Oh, well, thank you all for having us. We always like to get information out. We don't want to do like an information overload, but we do like, there's a lot of facets to being in the fire service nowadays that, and we're in the community a lot. So that's kind of what our focus is today, and a little bit about preparedness as well. So it's kind of a, how we can help you, but how you can help us kind of thing. So.
And we appreciate that because we don't know what we don't know.
Right, absolutely.
All right, today we're going to start off talking about the Radcliffe Community Connect program.
Yes.
I know absolutely nothing about this, so I am intrigued.
Well, it's new for us as well. When we changed our management software, so pretty much every agency, fire department, police nowadays, and a lot of businesses have some kind of management software, and we, the one that we use, we'd use it for doing fire inspections and everything from making sure the personnel, everybody's on duty and everything. But this one actually had a cool feature that it's called Community Connect, and it allows you to securely put in information that will help us in a response. So the way it works typically is like if I go do a business fire inspection, I'm able to go in and visually see a lot of things and take notes of that, and that will help us if we have to make a response. But also if we point out something that you might need to repair, or something for the safety of yourself and your customers, or even just protecting your building, your structure. So I can do that, but when it comes to like a residential, I'm kind of limited. We have to go with what information that we are given, or what we kind of know from how the average house is built, things like that.
Right.
So, but with people's homes, a lot of times they change things, inside, or there may be things like special needs or something. So the cool thing about Community Connect is it allows you to put that information into the system, and we'll put up the information, the link, at the end of the show, or on the bottom of the screen,
sure.
So that everybody can. And there's also even a cool QR code that you can scan for smart devices and stuff. But it's free. There's no, and like I said, it actually helps us and helps you as well. So what you do is there's actually two parts to it. You can do for households and for businesses. And I'm going to read here a little bit because there's still some new stuff to me too.
It's a learning curve,
right? But basically, you'll enter the basic information: email, phone number, contact information, an address. And it'll actually, as you're putting that information in, it'll, it prompts and puts different icons on the screen for us. So when we're en route to that situation, or even like if it's a business and I'm doing an inspection, it allows me to have more information about what I'm looking into when I'm there. But it's, like I said, it can add critical information that can save time and help us. So, like I said, first thing's contacts. It helps us. Maybe you have an alarm system, and it'll activate and dispatch us. But you may not be home or something. So it helps us. Sometimes you may only have yourself as a key holder on a contact. But if you get into Community Connect, you can put your spouse, or somebody maybe that's close by. Maybe a family member or something. It also, you can put in if someone there has special needs. Maybe it's an older person who has mobility issues. Maybe someone who has a handicap that maybe like Down syndrome, or trying to think, autism. Right. Something where, like, if we go in and and we come rushing in, might startle them, might scare them, and they might,
be combative.
Right. So it helps us know, okay, here's a heads up. This is,
I like that. So if you maybe got a call to someone's house in the middle of the night, you would know how many people reside.
Right. Yes. That's one of the other features. Yeah. So it would tell us, you could put how many are there, and like I said, if there's a special need, a special concern. So that would help us as well.
Sure.
And once again, all this information is confidential. So it's
Right.
the only ones that'll be seeing it will be us, and it's not detailed to the, it's just enough information
Sure.
so it gives us a heads up of what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Same way if, medical emergency, kind of gives us a heads up, hey, this is someone who has a history of maybe diabetes or something, and those serious illnesses and side effects. So help kind of gives us a heads up. In case that person, maybe they called, they didn't get to give all the information, something happened. So now we're trying to make sure, as we approach what the concern is.
Maybe emergency contact. I live alone.
Right.
So maybe have one of my adult children to contact if something happens.
Right.
Information like that.
Yeah.
I love that.
So so that would give us that information.
Wow.
And we, some of that we could share with like EMS or law enforcement if they needed, but like I said, it's not something we're going to post online.
Of course not.
So
Sure.
because when you enter the information, it goes directly into the database and everything, so it's secure. Things like the type of occupancy. Not just residential, but if maybe maybe you have a daycare in your home. You can have a small daycare as long as I think it's like 5 or 6 children.
Right.
So that might be something that we wouldn't know just driving by your home. But in the middle of the day, let's say something happened to you and you've got 6 little ones.
Yes.
And that's something we have a heads up. Oh, hey, we're going to this home. There's going to be several children, things like that. So we have a heads up that, hey, we're going in, there's something above just the normal.
Or how about they have a really big dog?
That's another one. Yeah,
another
pets.
one?
Yes, pets is another one. And not just because of the big dogs.
Sure,
sure. I'm a
rescue,
dog lover. Yes.
right.
The big thing is rescue. A lot of times when somebody, the first thing, remember we actually, one of our own firefighters, his home was on fire.
Eek.
And it's and so and the first thing is, he's not really concerned about the house. He's just like, get my dog. So that was his concern.
Understand. I have one, and that's my indie boy. I would want him rescued first.
Right, and a lot of
Yes.
people, that's the way it is.
Yeah.
And some people will put like a sticker on a window or the door saying they have a
Okay.
pet. But
That's smart.
when we're getting there, that's a little bit of a heads up. Hey, we know now that there's pets there.
Right. Plus, a
so.
beware of dog might be a
Right,
good heads
yes,
up as
yep,
well.
yeah. So,
Sure.
because we don't know how the pets are going to respond,
Right,
and
especially in
everything.
an emergency situation.
Right. So, so that's definitely a good heads up. Some other things to is like the type of heating. So if you have an electric furnace or a heat pump, or whether you have you use natural gas or propane or something like that.
That's good to
Because
know.
those are things for us to
Right.
that kind of lets us also kind of plan. Okay, some heating devices they pose different hazards than others.
Right.
Like obviously if it's a combustible gas or something that we need to shut off, and those are things also you can actually you can put on there, and we can actually put on the map. We have icons that we can put on directly on the house, because it'll show us a picture of the home, and we can actually put like, okay, the gas shut off is around the back of the house.
That is awesome.
So we can put it on that side, which during the day is not too big of a deal.
Yeah,
but
sometimes even seconds count.
Right.
In an emergency situation.
Absolutely.
So that's good to be prepared with all that information.
Right. And the other thing too is that fires don't always happen just on a perfect day. They could be at 2 o'clock in the morning,
Right.
or when it's pouring down rain, and we're trying to get things done, but the weather is hindering us.
Yes.
So that's something that okay, we know the gas shutoff's right here. We can have somebody go shut the gas off. And things like that. Or even if it doesn't have to necessarily be a fire, maybe something happened to that gas line, and we need to go shut it off quickly. Water disconnects, and where the electric meter is, because some electric comes in underground, and some comes in overhead, to the weatherhead. So that helps us kind of have an idea of what we're looking at. Like I said, if it's dark, if I know that the electric meter is on the AB corner, what we call, on that back corner of the house, on that side, I know, hey, I can kind of look for electric lines on that side of the house, maybe not have to worry about it over
Gotcha.
here. So,
Stuff that us laymen's don't even think about.
which is
Yes.
important for us, especially
Sure.
for moving ladders and things like that we don't want get electrocuted, because
Of course not,
that hurts.
yeah.
So,
Sure.
so the types of heating, special considerations such as whether you have a basement or not, and you can put details in there. Is it a walkout basement? Not every walkout basement is like built kind of on a hillside. Some of them you may have a set of steps,
Right.
around one side of the house. That kind of helps us. Okay, we know if there's a set around. It also helps us, just kind of, like I said, get a feel, because basement fires are one of the deadliest fires for firemen, for a couple different reasons. But, if we know there's a basement, we know, hey, we've got a heads up, there's that potential.
You could
Right,
go
yeah,
through, yeah.
exactly. And that's,
Wow.
and that has happened,
Of course, yeah. Ugh.
even in recent years.
Sure.
Basement fires have claimed the lives of firemen and, I say firefighters, because
right.
we actually have several fire ladies on our
Yes,
fire
and
department.
they're fabulous.
It is. It's a very, but yes. So basements are a big challenge for us.
Sure.
That also helps. If we know, because sometimes people are in the basement when we have to go. So that kind of gives us a heads up.
How to get there the safest way.
Right, and knowing that we might have to get somebody out of a basement instead of just on the first floor or whatever.
It's a lot to think about that we take for granted. We once again, as a layman, we're thinking about our property and our people and our pets and all of these things. We have no idea all of the things that you all have to think about to not only help the people you're going to help, but to keep yourself safe and each other safe. That's
right.
a lot.
Yeah, because if we get hurt, then we're not able to help you.
Right.
So we want to make sure that we're being efficient and being safe for our own good as well. The number of bedrooms, because that kind of gives us an idea too. If it's 3 or 5 bedrooms, we may have a larger area to search,
Sure.
Or there may be more occupants.
Right.
So that's something to think about as well. The type of construction, whether it's and this is good for whether it's a business or a commercial or a church, or a home. You can give us details that you're more likely to go obviously into your attic or into your crawl space, things like that. We're not might not go into. And even when I do fire inspections, there's areas in your building that I probably I may occasionally go to,
Right.
but like attics, I might have to get a ladder. So there's some things I'm not going to do.
Right.
And
That
that
makes
can
sense.
and that can be important. Some people like to growing up, my mom had her house is an early 1900s house, so it has this huge attic that's almost like a second floor, and she puts things up there.
Right.
She's put boards across the rafters, and there and there's just all
Great
sorts
storage.
of stuff. Right,
All those family
absolutely.
heirlooms.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's something that kind of gives us a heads up. That we understand that they may be using that area for storage. So if something happens, that's just more stuff that might fall on us,
Right.
or more stuff to burn.
Sure.
Same way, if it is you're able to give us details, about your church. So if you've gone into your church and or into your business, how things are kind of laid out.
Right.
So you can kind of tell us, some details of it. What from the outside, we might be able to say, okay, it's brick on the outside, but are the ceiling joists, the trusses, things like that, are they made of metal or are they made of wood? That can
Makes
give
a
us some.
difference,
It
yeah.
does, and helps us kind of have an idea. So, and like I said, some of that stuff, like for a business or something where I would normally inspect, some of those details I can put in there, but there's others that you can put in that,
Right.
that could add.
Well, you can't be
helpful.
everywhere doing everything, so
Right.
we need to help you, right?
Right. and like I said, for a home, for a residential structure, it's your home. You're going to know it better, way better than we are.
Right.
So you're going to know, you can give us little details that might help us. Like like I said, if there's if you're using the attic for storage, maybe in down in Glendale where my mom lives, like I said, there's a lot of older homes. Well, those have been remodeled through the years. Some of those homes, like one right behind her, they actually had a large attic area, and they actually turned it into a second floor.
Okay.
So some
Smart.
people do those things.
Yes.
And you can tell us if your basement has if it's a finished basement, so you've made it into several rooms, or if it's just one big open area and all you have down there is a furnace and a water heater.
Right.
So those are, like I said, those are things that might not seem much to you, but those are big helps to us.
Sure. You need to know if there's an extra room upstairs and a couch is going to come down on your head, I guess.
Right. Or if there's a potential that there could be somebody up there,
Right.
So that's another thing as well.
That's good stuff.
In basements, a lot of people, they'll move into a home, and if they've got several children, then they may make a couple basement rooms in the basement, and so that would be helpful too. So we know that we don't need to just look upstairs.
Right.
It may have it may be listed as a 3-bedroom house with a basement, but you moved in, you finished the basement, and one of your kids, teenager, they want their own, so you build them a room downstairs. Well, we don't know that.
Right.
So that's
and
like
even if
said.
it's a family of 5, one teenager may be spending the night with a friend, or maybe down in that basement.
Right.
You don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
But it gives us a heads up to know what we're doing. Like I said, types of construction, where all the shutoffs are, electrical. You can tell us. You can put in the details. The breaker box is in the basement, or the breaker box is in the bedroom, back bedroom on the left.
Right.
So that helps us too. That
Sure.
we know, hey, where it is, because sometimes
They're obscure.
they are, yeah.
I've seen that I've seen them in odd places.
Right, and,
Yeah.
and people, in the same way with a business, especially and I keep saying churches because from our experience at our own church, but also at other churches, we tend to add on to our church buildings. We have a little growth, so we add on.
Yes.
So when we do that, we may have another breaker panel somewhere in a different spot.
Right.
So we may go shut off stuff here, but it's not turning power off to this part of the building. And homes do it too. People will do it if they have a garage. And somebody wants to use it as a workshop, and he may run power to it, and he may have a totally separate breaker going to that. So you can, like I said, you can do additional structures. You can do and let us know. Yeah, I've got a detached garage, and I'm using it just as my my man cave and workshop.
Right.
So those are things that we can have a heads up that it's not just got a couple cars in it. You may weld some. You may do woodworking or something. So we have some additional heads up about those hazards.
That's a whole lot of stuff for y'all to worry about that the rest of us don't even think about.
Right, but
Wow.
it is good information.
It
that,
is.
And like I said, just the planning, for, and like I said, a business, it's really good. It helps us, and if you've got. Like I said, I get to go into a lot of the businesses and see them, but a lot of the guys on shift and gals, they're not always in those places like I am.
The ones riding in the truck going to the scene.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is valuable information. I try to give them information, but there's things that you may think of that you can put in there. If you are, like I said, if you're running the daycare, that because we won't, But even if you have a daycare in a commercial property, there's additional information you can give us that would be helpful. Just how many kids maybe you have on average, things like that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things, but so it is a good program. We're trying to get people on board.
That's exciting.
Whether it's a business, whether it is a residence. Residence is a big one because residential is a big one. Like I said. Because I can go to a business and I can usually give you the paper and say, hey, we'd love for you to sign on to this. But as a resident, it's if you log on, like I said, you can give us that information from the comfort of your home and just helps us out.
So if I log on, and I'm definitely going to, this is awesome. I don't know what you need to know. Are there checklists? Are there prompts that ask questions that I just answer?
No, it'll give you kind of an idea, and it'll let you know what you want to put in.
Okay.
And then of course, if you have any questions, you can always give us a call too.
Okay.
But yeah, it'll let you know what you can, and it kind of walks you through it and everything. And it also this is good because it'll allow us to get information out as well. It's also an opportunity. We haven't had anybody use it yet. It might not be fully set up, but we'll have where you can do permits. Like, some things are, you have to have a permit, like for burning, certain types of burning.
Right.
So it's a way to, instead of just having to call the fire station, it'll pull that up and it'll actually alert us that somebody wants to, was looking into doing a burn
like
permit.
That. So if I want to have a bonfire in my backyard, I can just go online now and
right.
do
We'll
those
still
things.
probably, we'll still call you and talk to you and try
Sure.
to figure out,
Right.
what you're looking at doing, and whether you can do it or not.
That's a big one.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So those are things that we can go through and go over with you. But it is, and we're going to try to utilize it, more and more in the future.
Wonderful.
But it is one of those things just to help us be prepared and to help you be prepared as well.
And speaking of preparedness, while I have you, and take advantage of your time, let's go over some just basic preparedness that people can be aware of.
Okay. And that's something that I'd actually talked with a family just the other day, and we were talking about things like, and this is kind of a side note, but you could, they were talking about that, we talking about pictures from my family, and seeing a lot of people that my uncle had some older pictures, grandfather, stuff like that. So, and the first thing they said was that that they had lost a lot of their pictures, most of their pictures, in a fire, and so some got me thinking about some things that you could possibly do. We have the technology now. You can scan or take a photo of that.
Put it in the cloud.
You can put it in the cloud.
Safely in the clouds. Yeah.
Put it on a thumb drive. Something small that you could take with you, or you could put it in a safe. As far as being prepared, I recommend looking at getting a safe that's fireproof and waterproof.
You can get those at Walmart.
You can get different sizes. You can get all shapes and sizes. But consider that for those things that because we'll go in, we'll put the fire out, but depending on where the fire is, it could impinge upon those those items that you really want to protect.
Sure. I will even inject. I work for a financial advisor, and when someone does a trust, they take that binder with them. We don't keep copies of that. That is theirs.
Right.
100% the only copy. That needs to go into a safe, fireproof box.
Absolutely. Yes.
A family trust. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Any of those secure items that you want, birth certificates, things like that that you're always keeping track of.
Right.
Definitely recommend getting a fireproof, and I say waterproof too because I just if there's a leak or anything, they could damage it.
Right.
But a lot of the newer safes, that's been a big thing, is they're putting in there that they're waterproof. Right. And especially, when we come in, of course, we're going to be trying to put the fire out, so we're not really concerned at that point with what's being protected from water and stuff. We're going to try, to only focus on the fire, but there's still things that are going to get wet.
Right.
That,
all the natural disasters that have been around us. So, a tornado tears things up. At least your stuff is going to be safe from the rain, from the tornado, all of that. May wind up in somebody else's yard, but it'll still be intact. Right?
So, and if you've got a basement or something, then put it, down there and try to keep it. Of course, now there again, try to keep it where it won't get wet if your basement does flood or something, or get an amount of water. But yeah, definitely, that was something that really, we're always talking about preparedness, and we're always thinking about, hey, make sure you do this, this, and this, get out and all that. But just really think about that. If you've got documents, pictures, photos, things that you want to keep secure.
The pictures are the big one for me. That's you can get another birth certificate. It's a pain. It's better to protect it, but those pictures are just invaluable.
Right. And take advantage of that technology. Put it on. Thumb drive is going to be a lot easier to put in there and keep than, or even a big hard drive than to try to put all those pictures in there. But the pictures are still, it's just kind of up to you. But that's one thing that we, we really got to thinking about, is like, we're always talking about making sure get out of the house. Let's definitely get out of the house.
Right.
Don't try to grab all those pictures and run out.
You are definitely not replaceable.
Right. But just make sure you think about things like that. Things that you're going to want to secure. Always make sure. We always talk about smoke alarms. That's a big one. Always make sure you're taking care of those smoke alarms. Make sure there was a period of time where some of the electric ones didn't have to have battery backup. So always, recommend making sure your electric have battery backup in case, you mentioned storms. If your power goes out and, you need to make sure that you've still got that, to alert you if there's a fire. So that's a very important thing.
Right.
Some of the other things is, with the crazy Kentucky weather, we're videoing this right now, and it was, 60 yesterday, and it's like 20 something today.
Right.
So
never a dull moment in Kentucky.
Right.
Never.
And we had the tornadoes that ripped through in the southwestern part of the state.
Yeah.
That was around Christmas time. So you would think Christmas snow. You're not thinking tornadoes.
No.
So just try to be prepared. Definitely a good weather radio. No matter what time of year it is, a good weather radio.
Those cranky ones.
Well,
That's what I used to have.
those I recommend personally one that is plugged into electric
Right.
that does have a battery backup. Because with replaceable batteries, the weather crank ones, if you ever read the fine print, you're supposed to crank them pretty regular to
Right.
keep that battery
I'm just telling
charged.
my age. That's
And
all.
well, I had some too, and I had some little flashlights that did that.
Right.
But if you didn't do it enough,
Yeah.
the battery
When
just
you need
wasn't
them,
very
they're
good.
not
Yeah,
there.
right. So so definitely something like that, and keep some extra batteries on hand. If you've got flashlights or like
Definitely.
the little lanterns, the little battery operated camp lanterns, things like that. Also remember in preparedness, no matter what type of weather, whether it be an ice storm, whether it be or tornadoes
Ice storms,
or anything.
those are bad words in these parts,
Right,
man.
right, yeah,
Woo!
I know. But when you lose power, especially if it's a large scale event, it could be a couple days before you're going to get that power restored.
Right.
You're going to get the help you need.
Yes.
So try to make sure you've got some things that make sure if it's cooler weather, you got some blankets, things like that. Make sure you got those batteries. Flashlights. Radio that doesn't require electric. If you another thing is too, make sure you're keeping your cell phones charged up.
Yes, that's a big
and
one.
and maybe invest in like the little the battery packs that you can recharge. Those are some of those are really, they hold a lot of power, so you can
Right.
charge a cell phone a couple of times,
Right.
or charge several cell phones.
Proactive
Right,
as a
right.
whole, it sounds like.
Yes, and make sure if we're talking about keeping documents and stuff safe, it's always good to maybe look at having a go bag for each person in your house, having some of those important documents handy, out of town contacts, so you can contact people that are not in the area, because a lot of us have our immediate family that live close.
Right.
So, but it's good to have contacts outside of the area, because you all may be impacted in the area. So, maybe some outside help if you need it. So
Perfect. I'm afraid we are out of time.
well,
That was a lot of really good information. I think we could go on. I actually have a couple more questions we'll have to ask next time. But I strongly, strongly recommend business owners and residents sign up for this connection.
Absolutely.
We will share that link.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time. We appreciate you and all of your counterparts and everything that you all do for us around the clock while we're sleeping, while we're awake, while we're living our lives, not thinking about these things. So thank you, Tommy, for your
Thank
time.
you.
We appreciate you.
Thanks.
I'm Melanie Parker. This is Issues and Insights, and we'll see you next time.